Guys, it is Kate here for the Try a Chapter tag. Now I am going to do a little bit of a spin on this, and I showed you guys last month my TBR like wrapped shelf, and this was an idea that I got from Sylvia over at Wish Fulfillment. I will link her channel down below. It's just really fun. So I thought for today with my Try a Chapter tag that I could try some of the wrapped books that I have. So earlier I had my husband pick out some, and I cannot remember. I think maybe I know like what one of these is, but I really can't remember what many of them are. So I'm really excited to unwrap these with you guys and show you all of the books that I have here to try out. All right, I'll try this striped one first. It is big and flimsy, and I think it's a paperback. Let's see. Alrighty, this is Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. I received this recently from Sarai at Sarai Talks Books, and I will read a chapter and just let you guys know what I think. Okay, so I just finished the first chapter of Bel Canto, and in case you don't know what this is about, there is a birthday party at the vice president of a certain country in South America. It doesn't say what country, and he at this birthday party, he has a very famous opera singer there singing, and then a couple terrorists with guns come into the party and hold them hostage. But it's supposed to be really, like it's supposed to take a twist, and it's based on a true event, which I've been told not to look at that because it will be a spoiler, so I haven't. So please, no spoilers down below. And I was impressed with the first chapter that I read. I thought it was interesting. I thought the writing had some... I was impressed with the writing. It had some variety in the vocabulary, and it drew me in to get to know the characters, so I'm definitely open to continuing on with Bel Canto. Let's go with the next one. I'll do another striped one. This is also a paperback, I think. Let's see here. Okay, this is the Pied Piper by Neville Shute. Neville Shute is a like classic adventure story type author to read, and this is about John Howard, and he takes a fishing trip to France, but then World War II starts, and they're like children who need help getting back from France to England, and he ends up helping out like several children get back to England, and is kind of they're in his charge. So hence the title Pied Piper. So I will read my chapter and then let you guys know what I think. Just finished the first chapter of the Pied Piper, and I really enjoyed this. I think this might be like kind of what I'm in the mood for. It starts out with the main character who's named John Howard, and he is in a bar in London, and it's during a raid, and he starts talking with this guy, and the guy is kind of asking him questions about fishing and things, and he starts talking about fishing in France and how he was recently there. So I think that this story is he's gonna kind of tell him the story while they're waiting out this air raid. And so I think before the summer's out, it could be fun to kind of do an adventure story, a good old-fashioned adventure story. So I'll let you know if I end up picking that one. Okay, on to the next one. I think this is a paperback as well. Polka dots. Let's see. I'll tear it so you can see it first. Let's do that. Alright, it is... Oh, you saw the back of it. It is The Razor's Edge by W. Somerset Maugham. So I have read Of Human Bondage, which is his like his really famous work, and I think this is like right up there with it. So I would really, I've been wanting to read another Maugham, so I will read the first chapter of this and then get back to you guys. Okay, so I finished the first chapter of The Razor's Edge, and this is a book about a man, I think, who was kind of torn between two women, but it's going to have its own Maugham sort of spin on it, and it's going to be really intense, I'm sure. But his writing is just amazing, and sometimes I feel it's not even a fair competition when it starts out. I have never begun a novel with more misgiving. If I call it a novel, it is only because I don't know what else to call it. I have little story to tell, and I end neither with a death nor a marriage. Death ends all things, and so is the comprehensive conclusion of a story. But marriage finishes it very properly too, and the sophisticated are ill-advised to sneer at what is by convention termed a happy ending. So I think this will be very interesting, and the first chapter was kind of it was odd because it was him explaining his story, and he talked about a previous book that he's written called The Moon and Stars. I have not read this one, so I own it, so I almost wonder if it's kind of like you have to read it to know it, but hopefully not. And I will let you guys know if this is the one that I pick. And on to the next one, kind of gardening type wrapping paper. And it is A Separate Piece by John Knowles. So this is a novel that I think is very hit or miss with people, and I remember reading it in 8th grade and absolutely hating it. But I think after reading Atonement and kind of those like reflecting back type books, I might like this and I might want to give it a try. So yeah, I'd just like to give it a second chance, and I know my husband really likes it, so that also makes me want to give it a second chance. I will let you guys know what I think. I've read the first chapter of A Separate Piece, and this takes place in a boarding school in New England, and it's 2 boys, and it's their very weird and unique friendship. And this main character, his friend is Phineas, or Finn, or Finny even, and he's just a very strange character and hard to get to know, and you never feel like you fully know him. And in addition to that, it's kind of these mixed feelings that the main character has about him. He doesn't really know what to make of him, and so there's kind of a crazy event that happens in their friendship, and then this is him coming back. I think it's like 30 years later, maybe it even said right at the beginning. So it's just him coming back and reflecting and seeing what he thinks and makes of all of that time in his life. And I could be in the mood for this. It's one that I definitely want to give another chance. Alrighty, and then the last one on this shelf. Oh wow, okay. I've been wanting to read this one, and it is Possession by A.S. Byatt. This is kind of the literary fiction that I could be in the mood for. So I'm going to try the first one, and I'll just tell you now that I don't even really know how to give a synopsis of this, so look it up on Goodreads if you want to know. But from what I can tell, this is about 2 historians kind of investigating the love that may have been between 2 authors that were living in the Victorian era and them trying to find it out. But I think it's just supposed to be a very, very unique book, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying out the first chapter. So I will try out the first chapter and then let you guys know what I think. So I finished the first chapter of Possession, and it seems to be really intense, like a very romantic book. And I think simply because it is romantic that I think of reading those things more in the cooler months. So I think I definitely want to read this soon, and I'll keep it on my TBR shelf that I keep, but I think I'll wait for things to cool down a little bit so it will seem more the right atmosphere to read this. And then A Separate Piece also I think would be better for the fall months, so I think I definitely want to get to this soon because it's just sitting on my shelf and I want to get to it. And then I think just not now for Bel Canto, but I think the plot, it sounds really interesting, and I was really impressed with Ann Patchett's writing in the first chapter that I did read. And then saving for the near future will be The Razor's Edge, because it's Mom and I want to read all of his works eventually. So I'll definitely be saving this, and it was a very interesting way to start a book, and it definitely got my attention. And I think what I'm in the mood for right now is the Pied Piper by Neville Shute. I did have this on my big summer TBR video that I had, and I had kind of forgotten that it was even on there. And so just seeing this, it just makes me remember that I had wanted to read it, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this tag, and I will let you know what I think of the Pied Piper, and I definitely plan on trying all of those soon. You know, I have so many books on my TBR, so I went ahead and put, all of these books that I want to get to wrapped on my, TBR wrapped shelf, and so I'm gonna try to get through them, and I think I've made a rule for classics. I'll try the first 100 pages, and if I don't like it, then I'll DNF it and give it to a bookstore where somebody else could find it who wanted it. And for modern fiction, I will do 50 pages of trying and see what I think. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Here are all the books that I tried, but it looks like Pied Piper won. So I will let you guys know what I think of it. And if any of you have read any Neville Shute, I think several of you commented on my last haul when I got several of those. So let me know if any of you have read and liked Pied Piper. And I will see you guys for another video soon.